With thousands of graduates graduating from the universities every year and white-collar jobs diminishing by the day, young people are turning to entrepreneurship for alternative sources of income. The government has come up with initiatives set to empower people willing to venture into self-employment at whatever level. It has put in place the Youth Development Fund, the Women Enterprise Fund, and the Kazi kwa Vijana initiative to provide money for such enterprises. This money is being disbursed through several banks as loans repayable at low interest rates to small and medium entrepreneurs. Microfinance institutions are also emerging to support young enterprises by giving them loans at low interest rates and friendly repayment terms, while at the same time educating them on how best to manage their finances for future expansion. Local banking is also taking a turn into capitalizing on the potential of the youth in entrepreneurship by providing bank accounts tailor-made for the youth and entrepreneurs who have an irregular income.
Tungetaka pia watusaidie na training pia ningetaka waongeze kidogo. Hiyo inaweza tusaidia na pia watusaidie kutafuta market.
The Ministry for Youth Affairs is also pushing for more youth to change their mentality on getting white-collar jobs and focus on self-employment as a solution to joblessness. A shift in the attitudes of the youth and the assistance from the government will see small and medium enterprises boosting the economy of the country by a significant percent and a reduction of poverty levels as enshrined in Vision 2030.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Good Morning Kenya, and this morning we're talking about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, and we're speaking to Dr. Pastor Mike Oludun, who is an entrepreneur himself. He also teaches what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. He's an award winner in Nigeria, and he's also an author of several books on the same. And just before we took the short break, he was explaining to us what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. But if you have any other question, comment, or observation you'd like to share with us, the number is 3223, starting with the word GMK. We'll get to tackle some of them before the end of the show. Yep. Now, Daktari. Yes. In Kenya we say Daktari, in Swahili, okay. Doctor, okay. Or doctor. Right. Now, most of us, we graduate from school, and you're an academician yourself. Yes. Do you feel that, in Africa, because you're talking about Africa, we prepare our young people who are going through our education system to get out there and be creative, start something, be entrepreneur, or we just teach them so that they can go and get a job elsewhere?
You see, there is no amount of salary they pay you that is enough. In life, you are the one to decide what you want to become. If you take certificate and you go to someone to give you a job, does that man have two heads that you want a job from? If everybody is taking his or her certificate to look for a job, who will create the jobs? You see, any economy that is not entrepreneurial is not going to survive these tempests going on now. If you go to the Asian economy, you go to America, you go to Japan, they are entrepreneurial. Africa have been backward for a very long time because the missionary education they gave us taught us to grow, go to school, come out, take your certificates, and go look for a job. No, the tides have changed. In Nigeria, Covenant University, that I'm privileged to be the first external PhD graduate, teaches you how to put your hands on and work. Because the visionary, Dr. David Oyedepo, is himself an entrepreneur. He's a kingdom entrepreneur that I know for this generation. And so he's put into practice what God has taught him. If you don't create the job, where will these people work? Every day we graduate thousands of youths from university, and they are going all over the place. If you don't engage them, you have given them knowledge in the university, and you have prepared gang of robbers. That's why you have prostitutes, you have armed robbers, highly sophisticated, because these boys have been trained and they are idle. The mind wants to be occupied. What I think we need is time for change, and that's what I'm calling for. As an entrepreneur, by God's grace, I have seen it. It's working in my life. I went into business. God said to me, go and practice it. Let them not think you are just talking. Today, from nowhere, we have businesses. From the day I said to myself, I'm not going to work for any man again. 1993, and then God said to me, leave now, go to Lagos from Kano. I was suffering in Kano. And then we got to Lagos on that instruction, January 1994. Even my wife did not believe, did not agree that anything could come out. We got to Lagos, and gradually, as an entrepreneur, you need to endure the hardness. You need to work more hours. If you are on salary from somewhere, when you become an entrepreneur, the salary ceases. You have to work for yourself to earn the salary. You have to survive yourself with the family. You have to get to a level where you pay someone else, and then you get to a level where you create wealth. It's a process. People want to jump the gun. No. Everything in life, you start by learning. So there are skills, there are attitude, there are knowledge you need of entrepreneurial training. And there are a host of about 30 criteria of characteristics or traits of successful entrepreneur. So I'm calling for a change that our youths be educated, be trained. We have vocational centers in Nigeria today. The National University Commission, following Covenant University, have brought Covenant University curriculum as a national mandatory requirement for every university in Nigeria to run entrepreneurship as a module. In fact, there are universities now running, 2 universities are running BSc degree on entrepreneurship. Joseph Ayo Babalola University is running a BSc degree in entrepreneurship. Covenant University have a program on master's degree in entrepreneurship. And we have a program on PhD entrepreneurship. So you discover that youths from Covenant University, our graduates, don't look for a job. I have a former student of Covenant University. I have not less than 100 staff in his organization. The university is not up to 10 years yet. A graduate of that university today employ graduates, employ professionals, and pay salaries. Because we teach them, every student of Covenant University, weekly, you go to the workshop. We have an entrepreneurship village where I happen to, by God's grace, be part of setting up from day one the university started. And so, because it's part of my life, entrepreneurship, I also do business. We have today an oil services firm where I'm privileged to be the managing director. We have today, I'm an executive director of another oil services firm where we have white men working for us today. A boy they couldn't pay school fees for in 1977, today have white men in his organization. Today, I'm in 5 multinational organizations as a member of the board of directors. I'm a publisher of books today. You can see these are 5 titles. I have others that are not here. These are business related. I'm a publisher today. I'm an oil and gas consultant. I'm an educator. My wife is a proprietress of a school that started 2004, her birthday, 26th of October. No academic session starts October. But because God said to me, start this school. Orphans should not pay school fees. Children who don't have parents, like your mother died because of poverty, they must not pay tuition fee. Today, over 25 young Nigerians have graduated from university through myself and my wife. From nowhere. By being an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, you get more resources. Last week, I saw a woman in Kenya, an elderly woman. She's an illiterate, but she's an entrepreneur. She was shown on one of the channels, and I was watching. And I said, this is what we need. She does guinea pig farming. She has a fish farming. She has English rabbitry. She said she started with 50 bob, 50 Kenya shillings. She got a male and a female of this guinea pig, and then began to nurse them. Today, she has a huge farm that she sells a calf, a little lard of it for 350 Kenya shillings. And when it's matured, that she sells for 1,000, 1,200. And they asked her about the profitability. She said the guinea pig is a better business than she has concentrated on that, and because that is bringing her more money. Entrepreneurship doesn't need a degree. It just needs training, skills acquisition, developing your talents. Our youth have a lot of talent. They should develop it. And we begin to create jobs.
All right. There's also this issue, the risks involved in it. Of course, as you say, you also, when you started, you didn't, you have to support your family and things like that. And that's why maybe young people think, I need to get some job and work for some time.
Now, let me say this. You need a job to start. If you don't get a job, the purpose of getting a job is not because you need money. You get into paid employment before you become an entrepreneur to learn skills, administrative office setting, boardroom ethics, the running around, how they do logistics, procurement, and all. Those are the reasons why you need a job. So if not, you don't need a job to start. The risk, there is nothing in this world that does not have a risk. Even this place we are sitting down is risky. Of course. When you go to 10-story building, don't you think supposing the thing collapse? That's a risk. When you board the aircraft, it's not risky. There is nothing in this world that will lead to profitability that does not have a risk. In Christendom, we call it faith. Faith. If you don't have faith,
Faith.
you can't achieve anything as a Christian. So if you believe God, what he has told you, then go ahead and take a step of faith. As an entrepreneur, if you believe that the passive idea you have gotten is something that will work, apply yourself to the hardness and you see results. But it will take a time. But people don't want to wait for the time. If you plant corn, I've been to Kitale to do a seminar last year. It's the harvest basket for East Africa. When you plant a seed of corn, it takes 90 days to yield. If you want yam, it will take 1 year. If you want palm tree, you need to wait for 5 years. But people are not ready to wait. They want it now. That is the problem. So there is risk, but you have to take calculated risk, not uncalculated risk. Every entrepreneur is energetic and they take risk, but they take calculated risk.
Risks.
The risk meaning you have to do due diligence. You have to find out this business I'm going into. If this fails, is there any other option? Can I do?
All right. What are some of the challenges that you come across and somehow then have to work around them so that to be a successful entrepreneur?
The most difficult challenge an entrepreneur has is human resources. People. Human beings are very insatiable. Not even your brother. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, don't put your brother or your sister in your business until you are sure he's not going to go and get it drowned. So people. You can't do business without human resources, without human beings. No matter the automation of computers and machines, human beings have to operate those machines. We are being watched now. People are operating the machines they are using now.
True.
The machines can't operate themselves. So the greatest challenge an entrepreneur faces in life is people. And the greatest benefit you also have is people. So how do you identify the right people? Organizations looking for recruiters to get people on a job don't know the right people for these jobs. The directors are shopping with their relations and bringing them. And they can't do this job. The organization needs qualified people. The qualified people don't know where the jobs are. The job owners don't know where the qualified people are. So how do you get a job? That is the duty of an entrepreneur. You need to do a due diligence and a search. So you set up a team to do recruitment and selection. Don't just bring your relations to start a business with you. They don't have the skills. You need a technical knowledge, the facts behind a business before you call yourself a businessman. And you know, a lot of us who are supposed to be apprentices, we say we are managing directors. I was shocked when God told me in 2003 that I've just finished my apprenticeship test in this business. So I think the greatest challenge is human resources, people.
So, you know, because most of the time, if you ask anyone, what is your greatest challenge right now, they'll tell you it's money.
No, they tell you it's money because they lack knowledge. Now, what is money? Money is a servant. You send it on errand. How do you start business? You start from where you are now. People say we don't have money. You have money. You see women have trinkets, gold. If you calculate the amount of gold they have in their houses, if you see the number of shoes you have in your house now, if you add them up, there's a lot of finance. People come to me in Nigeria, sir, we need money. I've been on this since year 2001, going around the country, training people and talking about how we can get from nowhere to the highest level. And so they tell me they don't have money. I say, you don't need money. They say, we need money. I say, you don't need money. What you need is I give them a list of the materials they need, the criteria they need before money.
Before money.
Yes.
All right, we take another short break. Once we come back, we'll pick up where we've left with Dr. Mike Oludun.